test I take, I get an A. Yeah, screaming that's none. When I pulled out the lock, that's done. Doing my thing, homework all day, every day. Triggers is it, triggers is it, triggers is it, triggers is it. Seeing Mr. Ng's face during period 3. Triggers is it, triggers is it.
Solve x squared minus x minus 12 greater than 0. Leslie, how did you solve the quadratic first? Okay, let's talk about the different ways that you can solve quadratics. What are some different ways that we can solve it? Okay, raise your hand if you use the quadratic formula. You could, and it'll always work, right? Leslie, tell us the quadratic formula. Thank you. Brenda, using the quadratic formula, let's go ahead and substitute. Thank you. Jasmine, continue. And all this. Positive 48. All over 2. Keep going for us, Royce. Royce, what's the square root of 49? Class 1 plus 7. 8 divided by 2 is 1 minus 7 is negative 6 divided by 2 is negative. Raise your hand if you got 4 and negative 3. Now some of you raise your hand if you did it by factoring. I would have taken a shot at factoring, and did it work? Yeah. Was it factorable? Yeah. Probably won't say this one. Okay. Now, let's give ourselves a quick graph. With our straight edge, let's draw a graph. Alright, here's some clues that you should. Let's go ahead now and graph this. This is the only new part so far, is graphing it. So as I graph it, we just solve for the x-intercepts. So I have negative 3 and 4. Now pay attention. 4 is an open circle. Put your finger on why it's an open circle. You should have your finger here. Now we've kind of already graphed these before, right? Now what we're going to do is anything to the power of 2, the graph is a, everyone say parabola. It opens up because your A value is positive. So my graph's going to have an open U, okay? My C value is what value? My C value is negative 12. And that's actually going to become my y-intercept. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Now the common mistake is to think that this is the lowest point. They think the parabola will stop right there. But that's not the case, because if you can see, this is 3 and this is 4. So it's actually not, the midpoint would probably be something like around here. Okay? Now if I sketch a graph, a parabola is what letter of the alphabet, class? Everyone say U. The mistake last year is students put V's and I had to mark them wrong. How do you know when it's a U or a V? Well, a parabola to the power of 2 is a U, and your graphing calculator will verify that. Let's use our graphing calculator to its fullest potential. Now we're going to go back to something we did before. It's called test points. Everyone say test points? I need to figure out where it's true and it's false. So I have something in between. I'm always going to pick the number 0. I'm going to pick a number just outside of it to the right and one number to the left. And these will kind of tell us our test points. So on my calculator, I'm going to go to y equals and press clear. And I'm going to ignore the greater sign, and I'm just going to type in x squared subtracted by x minus 12. I'm going to press zoom. Class, what are you pressing? And what number? 6. Now notice how the graph is not complete. Class, what axis is this? And the lowest number on your graph is what? Everyone say negative 10. When you press zoom 6, it makes it a negative 10, positive 10, negative 10, positive 10. So our graph is not long enough. So everyone say window. We need to go further down. Well, I already know that the answer is negative 12. So let's put in negative 15 for our y minimum. You are pressing the negative button. And I'm pressing 15 there. So I went to window. I'm changing the y minimum so that the parabola can be seen fully. So press graph. Okay, now we have a parabola. You can see it's a U, not a V. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my calculator to help us figure out the test points. So in order to do that, I'm going to press second window. What command, class? I don't care what the table start is. I don't care what the delta is. I do care that it's on ask and then auto. The calculator is going to ask us for a number, which we'll give it, and then it'll automatically calculate the dependent. Make sure those are highlighted. And now I'm going to go to the table. The table in my calculator is yellow, so we're going to have to press second graph. Everyone say that? Now it's given me a table, but the table is, yours might be blank, mine has a couple of numbers. So I'm going to type in 0 and press enter. What did it get, class? Negative 12. What did the calculator do? It took 0 and put it in here. 0 plus 3 is 3. 0 minus 4 is negative 4. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. Class, is negative 12 bigger than 0? So that is false. That means everything inside here is going to be false. Let's test another point, 5. Put 5 into your calculator. You can also press clear or delete to get a number off and press enter. Raise your hand if you got 8. What the calculator is doing the simple calculations for you. 5 plus 3 is 8. 5 minus 1 is 1. 8 times 1 is 8. Class, is 8 bigger than 0? True or false? That means over here in this region, everything to the right is going to be a solution. Let's test negative 4. Remember, you're pressing the negative sign at the bottom of your calculator here, not the subtraction sign. Press enter. You should have gotten 8. So again, what the calculator is doing is negative 4 plus 3, negative 4 minus 8, and we know that the answer is 8. Class, is 8 bigger than 0? So this region is a true. So let's review. This is false, true, and true. Now, previously we just drew arrows going left and right. Are you guys following that? Do you guys remember what that symbol means in our celebrity story? Do you guys remember that? If your love interest in someone else is greater than, what do? You break up with the person you're with. Breaking up is the word what? And or? Or. So our graphs would normally go like this. I'll do it in red for you. These would be our solutions. But here is where our new solutions are now. The parabola is going like this, but the solutions are only where it's to the right. So as my graph continues, if I look like this, and my graph goes like this. So my solutions are in purple. Let's write our solutions in interval notation. Class, where is this coming from? Negative infinity. And it stops here at parentheses or bracket. Parentheses, because it's an open circle. Let's do this side. I'm starting here at this number, which is what? 4, and I'm going towards positive infinity. Yeah, that's an arrow going towards positive numbers. And notice how you don't have any solutions in the middle. We put a U for union. What does that stand for, class? Union. To remember the word union, I have this little trick that I found. That looks like what word? Looks like or. So to review, solve the quadratics. Use those points. Those are your boundaries. Test them. Once you test it, it'll tell you where your solutions are. Then you can put an interval notation and also highlight the graph. So down here, although this is a parabola, it's not where the solutions are.
I love math. You don't love math? What's wrong with you? I love math. You don't love math? What's wrong with you?
Alright, this problem we're asked to solve and graph x squared plus 10x plus 1 greater than or equal to 12. Pretend this is an equal sign. When you're solving anything to the power of 2, we need to set it equal to what? Set it equal to what number? 0. Subtract 12. X squared plus 10x minus 11 greater than or equal to 0. I'm going to take a shot at factoring. A times C, negative 11. My B value is positive 10. I need two numbers that multiply to be negative 11 but add to be 10. 11 and 1. Which one is negative? Remember, when your a value is equal to 1, you only have to do the x. So if I factor it, that becomes x plus 11, x minus 1, greater than or equal to 0. Raise your hand if you got that so far. So if I solve it now, zero product rule, x plus 11 equals 0, x minus 1 equals 0. I'm going to subtract 11 and get x equals negative 11 and x equals 1. Raise your hand if you got those two solutions so far. Now if you did the quadratic formula, you should have gotten the same. Okay. Let's now give ourselves a visual of our graph. I recognize I have negative 11, 2, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, negative 11. Mark that. Positive 1. The nice thing about this problem is that it is symmetrical. There's a distance of 12, so the midpoint is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I know that my graph's going to be folded in half on this line of symmetry. Okay? I know that my y-intercept is negative 11. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. Right now, just the accuracy of your graph is just based on some basic properties. So we know that a value is equal to 1. So it's going to open up, and my graph's probably going to look something like this. Should be a U. Alright, now I'm going to figure out some test points because we haven't really solved it. This is not solving. Okay, this gives us the boundaries and there are 3 test points. On your paper, point to the 3 test points. You should have 1, 2, and then 3. Class, what number do you think we're going to test over here? Someone said negative 13. Is it okay to pick any number? Yeah, any number is okay. How about a number in between? Good, always pick 0. And something over here? I heard 2. Yesterday we learned on our graphing calculator, you can put this into your y equals. Clear x squared plus 10x minus 11. You can go to zoom 6. Uh-oh, what happened? You can tell that it only has 1, so you can press zoom out at zoom number 3. This gives you a good visual. The next thing I'm going to do is use my table to test these points. So second table. Anytime you want to go back to the graph, you just press graph. So second table. I'm going to type in -13. Remember, press the negative sign, not the subtraction sign, or you'll get an error. If I press -13, press enter. Here I get 28. What does that mean? If I took x equals -13 and put it in here, -13 squared plus 10 times -13 minus 11, your whole output there is going to be 28. Class, is 28 bigger than or equal to 0? True or false? It is bigger, so that is true. So I'm going to put a check mark here. True. Let's do 0. Press enter. You get a -11. Class, is -11 bigger than 0? False. And let's do 2. Press 2. Enter. 13. 13 bigger than 0? Yes. Okay. Let me connect with something we learned previously, and we'll talk about more of the newer concepts. Back when we faced absolute value inequalities, we had a celebrity story. When your interest in someone else is greater than, what would you do? Would you stay together or split up? Split up. Remember, we did something that looks like this. Do you guys remember that? And splitting up looks like what keyword? Or. Okay, it's only in these areas past those x-intercepts that are solutions. Okay? Now, the red now will verify where it is. The red part inside here, this is not a solution, right? It's only a solution going towards the right in this direction. So my solution for the graph is going to look something like this. I'm going to use my calculator to help us. Let's write an interval notation for this side. Class, where is this coming from? -infinity to where? -11. Should I include that -11? Yes, because it's a close, so that'll be a bracket. Okay, let's go over here now. I'm starting here. What's the number? Parentheses or bracket? Going towards where? 2? What? Infinity because of the arrow. Class, do we have solutions in between? No. You're going to put a U for union. My interval notation is -infinity to -11. Stop, press a pause. And then or this interval. And if I'm not sure if I showed you this little trick yesterday. Class, what word does that look like? Looks like ors. So let's review. In this quadratic inequality, find the x-intercepts. The x-intercepts tell you your boundaries. Test the areas. You'll figure out areas that are solutions and not solutions, and you just do interval notation. Solve and graph x squared minus 4x plus 1 greater than or equal to 0. Take a shot at factoring. A times c is 1, b value is -4. Two numbers that multiply to be 1 but add to be -4. Any numbers, class? No. Quadratic formula. -b plus or minus b squared minus 4ac over 2a. You have permission. You walk out to the lunchroom, room 900. She has a sign outside. She wrote down the quadratic formula wrong. She listened to my sign. Put my sign for her. X equals the opposite of -4 plus or minus -4 squared minus 4 times 1 times 1 over 2 times 1. Looks good? Yes? No?
Yeah.
Jeez, what's he yelling at me? X equals 4 plus or minus 16 minus 4 over 2. X equals 4 plus or minus square root of 12 over 2. X equals 4 plus or minus, this is 4 times 3, so square root of 4 is 2. And then I factor out a 2. 2 times 2 plus or minus radical 3 over 2 times 1 cancels, and I get x equals 2 plus or minus radical 3. Raise your hand if you got that. Okay. Is that right? Hello? Yeah? Okay. So now I'm going to give myself a visual. Stood up here. Now, for those who are struggling with this, okay, decimals do give you understanding. So it is okay if you're getting a decimal to help you understand where it's at. 2 plus radical 3. Boom. 3.373. And 2 minus radical 3. 0.27. Okay? So then on my, based off of those two numbers, 0.27 and 3.73, I got a C value of 1. A value is positive, so it's going to open up. So my graph should look something like this. Let's review what we learned kind of like a long time ago with the celebrities. If your interest in someone else is great, then you what?
Stay together.
You break up, right? Break up means what word? Or split up. Look, that would be, this is what we did previously, right? Does that make sense? But now we're talking about, well, the solutions are on the outside of those points. So what's on the outside is this part of my parabola. Does that make sense? Anything to the left here. That's why I'm highlighting this in red. And then I just have to write an integral notation. This is coming from where? Negative infinity to 0.27, including it. And over here, I have 3.73, starting here, to positive infinity. The solutions are not in the middle, so you have union. Remember my little trick. Did I show you guys my trick? It looks like the word or. Remember, we learned to use our calculators. So if I put this function into x squared minus 4x plus 1, go to my table, and I can test some numbers like 0. 0 is 1. Is 1 bigger than or equal to 0? Yeah, that's true. Pick a number in here, maybe, sure, 1. It's negative 2. Is negative 2 bigger than 0? No, that's false. There should be nothing in my graph. Does that make sense? Nothing inside that little interval. And then over here, 4. 4, my output is 1, so 1 is bigger than 0. That is true. So that means my graph, I should only have solutions in this area, nothing in between, and solutions to the right. Raise your hand if you got that.
We doing math today.
Ain't got time for no games. We doing math today. All work and no play. We doing math today. Listen up and behave. We doing math today. We doing math today.